All right, y'all. We back live. Let me see who we got going on over here. It is Sunday, January 7th. Get this thing going, y'all. I was here a little bit earlier, just doing a sound check, and you may have caught me looking kind of rough without my hair being in a bun, but it's all good. Give it a little bit of time. I know some folks checked in with me a little bit earlier. And I appreciate you for that. They helped me with the sound check. But yeah, man, if you're joining in for the first time, I'm the tech vet. I cover tech and veteran related news because I am a technical veteran, a veteran that did cybersecurity on active duty, and now I'm also doing cybersecurity on the outside in the civilian world, as us veterans call it. But yeah, man, my second week of covering some cybersecurity topics, testing this out, seeing if y'all like it. I wanted to start doing this because I talk to a lot of people who want to get into the cybersecurity game. And one thing that I feel like will help is if you immerse yourself into the cybersecurity culture, right? Um, that'll help you as far as knowing current events. Because you got to be able to walk that walk and talk that talk. You feel me? Let me see what kind of activity do I have over here. So I'm testing out this whole one stream app. Seems to be doing good. Like I said a little bit earlier, I hopped on just to do a sound check, and someone was hollering at me, which was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. But let me see. I'm finding my bearings here. Up. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Clicking some stuff and stuff is popping up. But yeah, so I'm gonna test this out. Y'all let me know if this is helpful. I'll cover some stories weekly, as long as I'm not out of town and whatnot. But I also want to start doing some live sessions because people ask me all the times for tips and tricks on how do I get into tech, how do I get into cybersecurity. I want to start doing it in this format so that way, if I answer one person's questions, everybody could benefit from that, right? So that's something that I want to do right there. Something is on my screen that I need to get rid. There we go. We got rid of it. We got rid of it. Let me see. All right, man. So we about to jump into this. So I'm covering my top cybersecurity stories of the week. Jumping in, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so y'all can see these articles that I'm referencing. My sound is looking good. I actually fixed it from last week. Last week was my first time streaming, and to be honest, I didn't understand what I was doing. My mic volume was too low, which was a penalty shot for me, which I had my penalty shot. So we good right now. But jumping in. Let me share my screen real quick. And I will show you the stories that I want to cover real quick. Nope, this is the one. All right. Let me see. Make sure I'm seeing what I want to see. Boom. All right, we good. Let me pull up some of these notes as well. Nope, that's not what I want to do. All right. Boom. So we looking good then. We are looking good. All right. So the first story of the week that I want to cover, 23andMe. They came out blaming their users for the cyber attack that happened to them towards the end of last year. So basically, what happened with that was about 14,000 users' accounts were breached. Right, the hackers got access to it, and they took advantage of this feature called DNA relatives. So basically, and I did some content on this too, and I predicted it. I predicted it when they said that um that feature was there. Basically, what that DNA relative feature did was it allowed customers to basically identify who their relatives are, right? And just like I predicted, out, out of that 14,000 people that got hacked, um, the hackers used that DNA relatives feature to go find 6 million plus more users information that they could find. Um, and when I covered this, I said it was scary because this wasn't just regular information like payment information. This is like DNA information, right? And the story came out that there was actually um an Iranian backed group that were targeting a specific Israeli group, which um when you consider what's going on in the world, right? Uh if you're my enemy, right, and I get access uh to the DNA profiles of a group of people that are my sworn enemies, I just might be able to use that information to craft a customized bioweapon, right? Someone on YouTube actually pointed that out to me because after I posted that video, someone pointed that out to me, and I was like, man, I didn't even think about it like that. That's very devious. But alas, this is war. Let me know whoever's in here if y'all can let me see something real quick. Move some stuff around real quick because there's certain things I want y'all to see. And let me see something. Let me see something. Think think if anything comes up, I'll be good. All right. Let me see. Stream, boom. Okay, okay. I'm seeing what I need to see right there. Let me just move a few things around real quick. All right, boom. And then if I do this, okay, you guys are seeing stuff the way I need you to see it. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, that was bothering me. But okay, boom. So I mean, that's where we are. That's what made that breach so frightening to me, right? What better way to get the recipe for a customized bioweapon for a targeted group of people than getting access to their DNA information? And then using that information that I got that I found to go find other people's within that group. So but basically, fast forwarding this, work with me, man. I gotta relearn how to talk with these braces in my mouth. So if I sound kind of slow, that's why. Okay. I know how to talk. I promise. I know how to talk. It's these damn braces. But no, so basically, 23andMe, they put out a letter basically saying here, right here, look right here, users negligently recycled and failed to update their passwords excuse me, following the past security incidents. Basically, they were saying that the users recycled their passwords from other websites and those to use to access their profiles on 23andMe, and that's what caused the breach. Um, but yeah, that's I'm throwing the penalty flag on that one, man, because 23andMe, they control their password policies, right? Um, and I'm a policy guy. So policy in cybersecurity is not the most sexiest job in cybersecurity, but it's a job and it pays well. Hint, hint. But so the companies, they control their password policies, man. So they could have forced their users to have more complex passwords, and they could have forced their users to use multi-factor authentication. They didn't start using multi-factor authentication until after the breach, but then they want to point the finger to their customers, man. Uh yeah, man. I don't know if you've seen that meme with the baby that be like a bud. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to get penalized from YouTube because I would like to monetize this at some point. But that's a bud. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't like that, man. Just as a consumer, I never got into 23andMe. I missed that boat. Um, and I'm glad I did, but how dare you blame your customers because you didn't implement best practices. Yeah, that's as they say, malarkey. A whole bunch of malarkey, a bunch of tomfoolery happening here. And they're getting hit with a class action lawsuit, which they should, right? Because they were lazy, man. And maybe they were so lazy. Let me see. I got some folks who's chatting over here. If you sent me a message, I'm still learning how to use these tools, so you may have to resend it. Okay, okay, no, we're good, we're good. But yeah, that's malarkey. That's on them, straight up. That's on them. They could have um mitigated that threat by enforcing a more complex password policy and forcing their users to use multi-factor authentication, because that could have put a layer of protection against those recycled passwords. So nah, that's on them. That's on them. So, but that's crazy though. And there's other policies in cyber and stuff like that. You got frameworks and standards like ITSM, um, IT systems management, man. And one of the principles in that is you protect your stakeholders. They didn't do their full due diligence to protect their stakeholders, in my opinion. So that's on them. I actually have think I got a little video coming out explaining a little something, something, but y'all gonna get paid. If you were part of that class action lawsuit, best believe y'all getting paid off of that. As you should. Cause 23andMe, they dropped the ball on that one, man. Straight up. So that's them. So now moving over to AI territory. If you've ever connected with your boy, I've been talking about AI a lot ever since ChatGPT came out. But so what I want to focus on here is how AI is being leveraged for cybersecurity, right? So in some of my previous videos, I've talked about how AI can be used to take over the mundane task, the repeatable, repetitive task in business, right? Nobody wants to do that stuff. Let AI do it. Um, so a couple of the big time tech companies, Cisco and Fortinet, they announced that they're using AI to enhance their cybersecurity offerings, if you will, right? Um Fortinet, make sure I got the right. Okay, yeah. Fortinet announced that its Fortinet Advisor Services, um, let me see, which leverages generative artificial intelligence to hasten cyber incident analysis and remediation plan development in a bid to significantly, look at that. See, I got to learn how to talk with these braces, improve threat detection and response efficiency. So, basically, Fortinet is using it to just help, with threat detection, analysis, and response, right? And then Cisco, they put out a similar announcement, right? Uh, Increasingly, yeah. Cisco to introduce new artificial intelligence powered assistant systems. Cisco has beefed up its cyber security cloud platform with the new AI system for security, which examines over 550 billion security events daily to provide improved event triage and root cause analysis in a bid to enable more informed cybersecurity decisions. So, um, I like this, man, because when I'm at the office, I'm looking at Splunk, uh, and if you don't know what Splunk is, that is a security information and event monitoring tool. So, for those of you that believe that you want to get into cybersecurity, um, you can get a SOC position, and you'll be looking at incoming threats all day, trying to figure out the difference between what is an event, someone trying to get in, or incident when something's actually been breached, right? Um, part of my day, I'm constantly looking at Splunk all day long, looking at events, making sure those events don't turn into incidents, right? But when I go home, I go home. I'm not looking at Splunk, but I am concerned and worried about my network, man. When cybersecurity gets in your blood, it's in your blood, man. You don't turn it off, but um, at the same time, I got a family, so I can't just spend all day, every day looking at Splunk, making sure the bad guys aren't trying to get into my systems. And that's why I like the idea of using AI to do that for me. So when I go home, I'm gonna let the AI take over. And then when I come in, I want the AI to triage for me and let me know what was the most uh high priority events, and in the worst case scenario, incidents, right? So I like that because now I can augment um the monitoring of my system security with AI and have that bad boy basically take the night shift for me. And when I come in, I take over in the morning. I like that idea. And for those of you, that's saying, hey, AI might take my job. In the case of cybersecurity, maybe. But you better learn how to use that bad boy so you're still valuable to the industry. right? That's how I love using AI to help with that. I mean, what Cisco said, it examines over 550 billion security events, right? When I'm at work, there's tons of events, tons of events, tons of events. Of course, you make some configurations to try to highlight which ones definitely need your attention, but with so many security events happening every single day, um as human beings, there's only so much we can do, right? There's a thing called bandwidth, and I'm not just talking network bandwidth. I'm talking about the human mind bandwidth, right? And we can only process and deal with so much. So I like this. I like this. So again, this is just highlighting how, at least in cybersecurity, you can leverage AI to augment some of your tasks. For me, I really like that overnight monitoring and triaging um capability you get with AI. So I wanted to cover that. Cisco and Fortinet, they made those announcements this week. So that's pretty huge for cybersecurity and AI, right? So now we're leaving the tech companies and we're going into we're gonna look at some critical infrastructure news in cybersecurity. So um this has been developing really ever since the things popped off over there in the Middle East. Ever since that popped off, there's been an Iranian hacker group called the Cyber Avengers, and this is crazy. They've been targeting water system equipment that was built in Israel. So basically, what they're saying is if you use this water equipment for your water authority services, uh, you're now a legal target to us. They call themselves the Cyber Avengers. Um, and I've been following this for a couple of months, and they just keep going after the water authorities in our country, man, which that's pretty dangerous. One of the most recent victims um was the municipal water authority of Aliquippa, is that how you say it? Pennsylvania. They were one of the most recent victims of one of those attacks. Um, Fortunately, their cyber folks were able to catch it and minimize the damage. But tell you what, man, that's kind of scary because I mean that can impact our public water. You know what I mean? Like, um, I know some folks that's their main source of drinking water. When I lived in the Bay Area, the Bay Area was known for having like some of the cleanest drinking water, right? Or cleanest tap water that you could use for. I drank that, right? So imagine if a group like the Cyber Avengers take over and they poison uh the water supply. That could wreak havoc. That could wreak havoc. So and that just that shows you how dangerous, man, cyber attacks can be this is something that's in a digital realm, but it impacts the physical world, especially something that we all rely on, water. So, couple of things that stood out in this article, man. The water authorities, they've been kind of slacking on budgeting for uh enhancing their cybersecurity because they got other things they got to worry about. They got to worry about the infrastructure that gets the water supply to you, right? The customers, right? So they got to worry about the pipes, the equipment and chemicals they need to keep that water clean, processing that water. So if I'm in their shoes, I get it, right? I have to weigh the importance of do I make sure the pipes are good to deliver the water, or do I make sure I have good cybersecurity? Um, I'll tell you what, I don't envy them because I don't want to be in that position to have to make those tough decisions. Just keeping it real. Um, I also think this highlights how some industries they don't understand how important it is to invest in cybersecurity. So that could be a thing too, to where maybe all the attention was focused on just the infrastructure and maybe not even considering, cybersecurity. Like, hey, uh maybe they didn't even realize that they could be targets, and rightfully so, right? Maybe they may not have even been targets if things didn't pop off the way it did in the Middle East, right? So a couple of things there, right? How geopolitical issues can impact the motivation of hackers, right? And then how hackers could go launch a targeted campaign for equipment that was made by their enemies. Layers stacked on it, right? But that's what you got to think about, right? If you're thinking about getting into cybersecurity, you got to consider all of that, all of it. Uh, so that's crazy, but we need to figure this out. I know policymakers are trying to figure out what they can do to update policies to kind of account for these threats in the water industry, right? Because right now, what they have in that industry is the Safe Drinking Water Act, and that did not account for these type of cybersecurity countermeasures, right? But we need that, and we need that quick, okay? Because I don't need water systems to go down and y'all come in around me stanking because we ain't got no water for showers. So we need to figure that out. Policymakers, um, work with the best and brightest cybersecurity professionals so y'all can update policies in the water industry so y'all can take care of us, man. We need that. We need that water. We need to protect those systems. So now I'm leaving the water industry, going into the medical industry. So let's close this out real quick. And right here, this is a crazy story. So two New York hospitals, the Carthage area hospital and the Claxton Hepburn Medical Center, they were victims of a ransomware attack by the group Lockbit. Um, so and the way this played out was their cybersecurity teams discovered that that data was actually stored on servers from a cloud platform by Wasabi Technologies. Um, so now this is a crazy story, and it's just crazy, man. So Wasabi Technologies, they provided copies of that data to the FBI, right? Because anytime there's um a cyber incident, right? The FBI gets involved in the private sector, Um, so they're following what they're supposed to be doing, and they handed over copies of that data to the FBI. But this is where things kind of get tricky. They will not give that information back to the hospitals. Um, and now the hospitals, they're asking the courts to force Wasabi Technologies to hand that information back to them. Now, and the FBI advised them that the best course of action they have is to take them to court to get their data back. Um, that's crazy. I think this highlights just how unclear, cyber law can be, right? Cyber policy, cyber law, because what we have is just not strong enough. In my mind, I would have thought the HIPAA Act, right? That's something for you to Google. HIPAA, HIPAA, for those that are not in the know. I would have thought that would have been compelling enough to have Wasabi give that information back to the hospitals, but I'm learning from this article that it's not. um, but that's crazy. So that's gonna play out again. The FBI advised the hospitals to take legal actions through the court systems to get that information back. That's crazy. That's crazy. And here's a couple of things y'all need to know about Lockbit. Um, they've been running a ransomware as a service operation since 2019. And to date, let me show y'all. Let me show y'all right here. Boom. And to date, not at least $91 million have been stolen from US based organizations. That's crazy. So if you want to learn more about ransomware as a service, I actually have a video on the replay. Once this live is loaded on YouTube, I'll post the link to a video. I did a full video breakdown of what ransomware as a service is and why it's so dangerous. But I mean, here's two victims of a ransomware as a service operations. Um, and they can't even get their information back from the cloud services without going through the courts. That's crazy, man. Something to think about as far as like how interesting this cybersecurity game is, right? Again, if you're an aspiring cybersecurity professional, this is some of the headaches you may have to deal with or help companies navigate through to deal with, right? This is why the cybersecurity guys make the big bucks, right? They're not making as much as the AI guys, but that's a whole different live session. All right, so moving over to I'm leaving the hospital medical industry. Excuse moi. And we're going over looking at how cybersecurity is impacting the court system. Um, and to be very specific, let me make some adjustments on my end real quick. Let me see. Here we go. That's why. Boom. All right. So this is a pretty interesting story here. So check this out. The court system of Victoria, Australia was subject to a suspected ransomware attack in which audio visual recordings of court hearings may have been accessed. So this is a court system in Australia, right? Uh they don't know specifically what type of attack it was. They suspect ransomware. They're still doing their investigation to figure out what went on. But what they do know so far is that video data of court hearings was accessed, and this video data from cases that ran between November 1st and December 21st, 2023. Now, here's the scary thing. What makes this one so scary? Let me see if I can find that section here. Do, 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 do. Concerns exist over potential leaking of information from particularly sensitive cases heard during the last 2 months. So you have some people whose identities are being protected. Um court ordered protection, right? Maybe some people in the witness protection program, stuff like that. That's the information that's at risk of being leaked. And that's putting lives in dangers, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, we've all heard recently about some, leaking of some sexy red videos. But it's completely different. Um, I mean, those sexy red videos are probably dangerous too, but this is way more dangerous. And these are the type of threats that we got to worry about. And it's the world we live in. This is the world we live in. And again, this is highlighting the importance of having skilled cybersecurity training. A couple of more details about this. Um, so what they highlighted in this article is that Australia is part of the counter ransomware initiative, the international counter ransomware initiative, which is working toward a joint pledge to refuse ransom payments at the government level. At- Let me reread that. They're working toward a joint pledge to refuse ransom payments at the government level. Isn't that crazy? Like, there's a has to be an initiative to bring together international communities to pledge to refuse payments of ransoms from cyber attacks at the government level. That's crazy, which means they're considering paying a ransom. A government entity is considering paying a ransom. Um, and I know here in the US, the FBI, they advise against it because even if they advise against it because even if you pay the ransom, it's not guaranteed that the bad actors will not leak that data, right? So it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't type of situation, right? Um, I still don't know if I can say damn on YouTube, but I said it. So hopefully I don't get demonetized. Well, I'm not even monetized yet, so it don't matter, I guess. I don't know how that works. I'm still new to this. But anyway, it's a crazy situation, right? Um, what do you do? What do you do? Me, I prefer not paying it because if you pay the ransom and they still leak the data, you still felt the effects of leaked data. You're still gonna have to pay out any type of liabilities, uh, whatever cybersecurity insurance. You're gonna have to pay your deductibles and stuff like that. You might get a class action suit levied against you. You might get ordered to give your customers additional financial protections on top of ransomware payments. So, me, I elect don't pay the ransom and stack that bread for the other stuff you got to pay for. Right? That's how I look at it. So, oh, that's crazy, man. This year started with a bang in cybersecurity. All right. So now we're leaving the court system industry we're going into the insurance industry back here in the US of A. So um let's check this out. So First American, one of the largest insurance companies in the United States, has confirmed that the cyber incident they suffered last month in December 2023 was indeed a ransomware attack. Um After going through this article, it looks like they don't really know the full extent of the compromise. They're still working through it. Um, but they are one of the biggest insurance companies, title companies here in the US. Check this out. Last year, they generated $7.6 billion in revenue. So if I'm a hacker, that's 7.6 billion reasons why you're my target. Uh, and again, they handle title insurance and settlement services to the real estate and mortgage industry. So um they generated $7.6 billion last year. Imagine how many companies and people this could possibly affect, right? So that has the potential to affect a lot of people. A lot of people right there. That's crazy, man. Because we're talking big money right there. 7.6 billion. I mean, when you look at them numbers, one could kind of see why people would consider being hackers. Thinking, from the mindset of a criminal, but and you got to think like that, so that because it takes the wolf to catch a wolf, right? So you got to think like that to go get the bad guys. All right, so now we're leaving the insurance industry, going over to it's the last topic I'm gonna cover before I wrap this thing up today. So going over to the cell phone industry, right? Let me see. Let's go to that article real quick, real quick. Let me close that, free up some bandwidth. All right. So check it out. The Zamalicious Android malware. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Zamalicious. That's how it looks like to me. Um, I don't know if that Zamalicious is Fergalicious. I would prefer Fergalicious over Zamalicious, but basically 300,000 Android devices was impacted by this malware. So basically, the malware opened up a backdoor. It collected the data and sent it to the command and control servers of the hackers. Um, and that thing can automatically click on adware and then start eating up data and then killing your battery without you even knowing it. The backdoor, the infamous backdoor. But so pretty dangerous bug on your iPhone. In this article, they actually tell you, look out for these apps. If you have these apps actually had that malware built into it. So if you look for these apps on your phone, if you have them, delete them right now. Don't delete them right now. Delete them right now. Um, and then a couple of things you need to do: run the antivirus scans on there, make sure you're good. And then they also recommend a couple of things to do to prevent this from happening in the future. Um, Only download reputable apps. Check the reviews on Play Store. Come back to YouTube, look at some app reviews on YouTube. I mean, you got ChatGPT or other AIs. Search those apps and make sure you don't see any reports of people being compromised by these apps and stuff like that. So be very careful. And then last but not least, don't side load apps using APK files. Because that circumvents the protections you get from downloading apps from like Google Play or the Samsung Android store, right? They try their best to vet those apps. Um I know the article mentioned that both the Samsung App Store and Google Play Store removed all the known apps that had that malicious code on there. So again, be careful what you download. Don't be jailbreaking stuff. Don't be downloading things that seems if it seems too good to be true, it probably is, right? Just the old adage, right? Things don't change just because we go in the digital world, right? Um, don't trust nobody or no apps. Now I know what you're saying, Apple users. Y'all like, you Samsung users. That's why I got an iPhone. Oh, you not special now. Now, see, because I've heard some of you Apple users say, oh, iPhones are more secure than Androids, or Macs are more secure than Windows devices. Nah, fam, you getting some of this love too. Let me show you. Let me show you. Boom, look at that. See, you app users, you guys were susceptible to the iPhone zero click spyware campaign called triangulation. Yeah. And y'all thought y'all were more secure because y'all fell for those Apple marketing campaigns, huh? mm, mm. I knew what y'all was saying at first. That's why I say this for last. Y'all was like, that's why I got an iPhone. I'm good. No, you're not. No, you're not. iPhone getting a piece of this too. So check this one out. So this one right here was a zero click attack. A zero click attack. What does that mean? My cyber guys, I know you guys know what this means, but for my aspiring cyber professionals, a zero click attack means you don't even have to do anything to be attacked. And the way this thing played out was they discovered a flaw in some of the hardware. Let me go to my notes real quick. So it was there was a bug in the chipset, basically. So let me see. So what they did was they sent a message, an iMessage, and then once that message was sent, it triggered the payload, and the payload. Let me see. Let me go to my notes. Take advantage of a flaw. Here it is of undocumented Apple hardware security feature. This enabled attackers to manipulate the contents of secure memory, so they were getting into the memory of the phone and ultimately gain full control of the iPhone. So, the attack begins when the threat actors sent a malicious iMessage containing an attachment to target the iPhone, which was processed without the user being aware of it. So you didn't even have to click this. So typically, your normal run of the mill cyber attack will either send you an email to click a link or message, text message, iMessage to click the link, and then when you click that link, then it delivers the payload. This one did it automatically. Sent the iMessage, and the moment it was delivered to your phone, it got into your memory. It circumvented all the security tools that you Apple people think you guys have. And then it allowed the attackers. Let me show you. Let me show you. Let me show you. Attackers took advantage of it, and they were able to write data to certain physical addresses while bypassing the hardware-based memory protection by writing the data, destination address, and data hash to unknown hardware registers of the chip unused by the firmware. So basically, this gave them full control of your phone. Full control. Full control. Check this out. The attackers had complete control of their target's device, allowing them to carry out a range of espionage activities, including transmitting the phone's contents to their servers. So they were copying all your data to their server. They got everything. Everything. Okay. And then it even said that even if you wiped it from your phone and rebooted it, it didn't stop them from coming back and reinstalling it and taking control of your phone again. And they did mention that uh that this malware was designed to work on Mac OS. So if you got a MacBook, a tablet, iPad, Apple TVs, Apple Watches, they were going after everything. So if the scary thing about this, right, is I mean you got people that are in very sensitive natured jobs, right? Think about people in the government. If they're having conversations, sensitive conversations, between their contemporaries, their coworkers and stuff like that. If I'm a hacker and I do my social engineering and I find out you're someone of importance, um, and I find out you have an iPhone, I'm coming after you with this. And maybe I can get some data that I can use to the benefit of my nation, right? That's what makes this scary. Or maybe this was how that sexy red video was leaked. I don't know. I'm just saying. Just saying. I don't know. Could be. I'm pretty sure she has an iPhone. Most celebrities do. Um, uh just being real. But no, yeah, what it comes down to is no one is safe. Do not have a false sense of security. Let me see. Turn this thing off. Don't have a false sense of security. I don't care what device that you have. Um, as the saying goes, where I'm from, anybody can get it, right? Now, that comes with a grain of salt, right? Because if I'm a hacker, I'm not wasting my time on anyone that's low reward, right? Like if I'm gonna spend the time, coming after you, I need you to have some type of high value, right? I'm not gonna waste my time going after a thousandaire when if I could choose my time between going after a thousandaire or a millionaire or billionaire, I'm going after the millionaire or billionaire. It takes the same amount of effort and work, right? So something to consider if you're, in a decision making strategic role at a multi-million dollar, multi-billion dollar company. This should illustrate to you why you need to make sure you invest in cybersecurity talent. Invest in new talent, upskill your current talent, whatever you need to do. Um, and then for those of you trying to get in the game, I'm gonna wrap this thing up for you, and I want to highlight this to you, right? So we talked about cyber attacks that affected the genealogy industry, 23andMe, the water industry, medical industry, court systems, insurance industry, the cell phone industry, and then we talked about two of the biggest tech companies in the game, Fortinet and Cisco, how they're leveraging AI to enhance cybersecurity operations, right? So um what I want you to take from this is, as an aspiring cybersecurity professional, there's opportunities out there, right? They need you. They need you. um, and the onus is on them to figure out how to get that money. But they need you because as you see, man, going back to that insurance company, 7.6 billion is what they generate a year, right? The hackers, they want that money, man. It's all about the money, man. It's all about the Benjamins, baby. So yeah, take that in consideration. The threats are real. They're growing. Like 2023 was a hell of a year for cybersecurity. And it's looking like 2024 is proven to be another hellified year for cybersecurity. Um, on top of Cat Williams bringing in this year strong. Anyway, but yeah, if you're considering getting into the game, just know you're making the right choice. But also too, I want you to know there's no shortcuts to success in cybersecurity. Got to put that work in, get in however you can. I'll be making more videos coming out this year to kind of show you what your options are in cybersecurity. And I'm gonna give it to you real. I'm not gonna sell you any dreams. I'm gonna give it to you real. This is a fruitful career for you. If you choose to put that work in. Thanks for checking in with your boy live. And I am the tech vet. If this is your first time, I am the next is a veteran in tech news. If this info helped you in any kind of way, make sure to like, subscribe, connect, follow, whatever the method is on your platform of choice. Stay locked in with your boy. Until next time, cheers to your success.